Jai Gurudev children. So today's topic is the animal kingdom. Now in this chapter you have to study the basis of classification, how the organisms belonging to animal kingdom, how they were divided into 11 phylum. So about those have been discussed in this chapter. Beside this, each of the phylum few characters are described. Now today we are going to study only about the characters, how the whole living kingdom of whole living animal kingdom have been classified into various phylum. So the characters are, you just see here I have written the basic characters based on which the whole animal, how this whole animal kingdom has been classified. So those, now there the first character is the level of organization. That means that whole animal kingdom, whatever the individuals which were included under this particular group, that is animal kingdom, all were not of same type. Some had only one cell, some have more than one cell. So accordingly, first they were classified as unicellular or multicellular. Then next, the multicellular organisms, further they are divided into various means level. That is, the first one is the cellular level of organization. So in cellular level of organization means they have only cells which they perform their work. Then next you have the organ level of organization. Now organ level means what? That various cells, first they were divided into certain tissues, and then those tissues organized together to form organ, and accordingly they perform their function. Then the next level is the organ system level of organization. So in it also, that means more than one organ perform a particular function. So that means what? Based on how the cells are organized, whether they are in the form of cells, organ or organ system, the whole animal kingdom had been classified into various phylum. So that is the first character. Then the second character is the symmetry. Now symmetry means here means certain terms you will come across. Symmetry means when a particular individual, if it can be divided into two equal halves, it is said to be symmetrical. Now there some animals, they can be divided into two equal parts, they were said to be symmetrical, and some it can be divided into two equal halves and they were termed as asymmetrical. Now to explain it roughly, here I have drawn some diagram just to first to explain what is symmetrical and asymmetrical. Now asymmetrical means what? Here means I am talking about the animal kingdom, but here some the digit numbers as well as the alphabet also I have written. Now you just see, first I have written here 2, then the alphabet F. Now if I try to divide it, means you just see one orange line I have drawn. So if you try to fold it, you are not going to get the equal half of these two this number as well as of this letter. That means these two are asymmetrical. They are not symmetrical. Then similarly, certain animals, now this one is an example of Porifera phylum. Now this organism, if you try to divide it into two equal halves, it is not possible. So that's why this animal, it is said to be asymmetrical. Then you just see here, first I have written the number 3 or the letter M. Now here if you draw this orange, means here I have shown with orange line. Now if you try to fold it, it can be divided into two equal halves. Now since it can be divided, they are said to be symmetrical. Same is in case of this particular animal. Now this one is the insect butterfly. Rough diagram I have drawn, but if you see this orange line, it shows that it can be divided into two equal halves. So that's why it is said to be symmetrical. So that means what? The animal kingdom, based on symmetry, some are said to be asymmetrical and some are said to be symmetrical. Now again, if they are symmetrical, further it is classified into two categories. One is said to be the radial symmetry, and the second one, it is said to be bilateral symmetry. Now the radial symmetry, the common example you can give is the adult, means here this one you can easily identify, it is the starfish. Now starfish, one thing you have to remember, only in the adult stage they show this radially, they are radially symmetrical. So that means what? If you draw, if you try to divide that animal from any plane, it can be divided into two equal halves. So such type of organism, it is said to be radially symmetrical or radial symmetry. Then the second one you just see, just I have drawn one elongated organism, and if you see, it can be divided into only two equal halves, that is the right and left side. And if any animal, if it can be divided into two equal halves, that is right and left, it is said to be bilaterally symmetrical or bilateral symmetry. And here the example you can give even of the human being or the leech, they falls under this category. So the second character based on which the animal kingdom were classified were the symmetry, which is the asymmetrical, symmetrical. If it is symmetrical, it is radially symmetry or bilaterally symmetry. Then the third point is the germ layers. Now in your book this term is not given, they have written diploblastic and the triploblastic layer. Now one thing you all have to remember, that in all multicellular organism, first when the organism is formed, first the zygote is formed, which undergoes repeated division, and they are further divided into some groups of cells, which later on they form certain layers, and from those layers only ultimately the development of the organs takes place. Different developments of the various organs takes place. So accordingly, if some organism, if they are having only two layers, now here you just see some organisms, the germ layer, they are having only two layers. If they have two layers, you just see ectoderm and endoderm, means actually there are three germinal layers are there. One is the ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. But in all animals, they are not having all the three layers. Some of them, they have only ectoderm and endoderm, and in such case, those organisms are said to be diploblastic. But some animals, they have all the three layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, and they are said to be triploblastic. So according to the type of germinal layers, the animals further they are classified into various phylum. Now while studying it, you will come across another term, mesoglia. Now this mesoglia character you will come only with the diploblastic animal. Now here you should remember that mesoglia is not the mesodermal layer. It is just an undifferentiated layer, jelly-like structure, but their appearance is little bit different, so it is termed as mesoglia. But sometimes they may have some cells, but actually those cells are not the mesoglial cell. It has migrated to this particular region either from the ectoderm or from the endoderm. So one thing you just remember, mesoglia is not a cell, it is an undifferentiated layer present in between the ectoderm and endoderm in case of diploblastic organism. So that is the third character. Then the fourth character, segmentation, means some organisms, their body is divided into various parts, segments. If it has like this, now here you can give this one the example of earthworm. Their body part, you can compare it. So if their body is divided into many segments, it is said to be segmentation. So this particular character is present in the phylum Annelida as well as in the Arthropoda. Beside this, some other examples too are there. So if they have like this division, it is said to be segmentation, and each of this segment, it is termed as metameres. So this is another character. Then the next character, the fifth one, is the coelom. Now coelom means hollow cavity present in between the ectodermal layer and the you can say the alimentary canal. So that hollow cavity is said to be coelom, and this hollow means it's not that it will remain empty, inside which the various organs which are present, they remain deposited. But in some organism, they don't have this cavity. So accordingly, whether in a particular individual they are having the cavity or not, it is divided into three categories. So just to show it again, here I have drawn few diagrams. So first you see, in some they don't have any cavity. So you just see this inner circle, this forms the alimentary canal, and this is the outer body wall. In between here, this part you just see, it is orange color, and orange color means it is filled up with cell. So there is no hollow cavity, and in such case it is said to be acoelomate. And this particular character, it is found in the phylum Platyhelminths. Then the second one you just see, it is known as pseudocoelomate. Pseudo means false, cavity, coelom means the cavity. Now pseudocoelom, now one thing, that cavity is formed and they are surrounded by the mesodermal layer. But in some, they don't have the true cavity, but some pouch-like structures are present. And these pouch-like structures, if they have, they are said to be pseudocoelomate. And this particular character is found only in one phylum, that is the Acelmantis. Then you see the third one, that is coelomate. In majority of them, this particular character is there. So there, what do they have? The outer one is the body wall. Inner to it, one blue line I have drawn, that is the mesodermal layer. Inside this one is the you can say the alimentary canal, surrounded by the mesodermal layer. And this whole green portion is the hollow cavity. And within this hollow cavity, various organs are located. So if they have the setup in this pattern, that particular individual is said to be coelomate. So based on the presence of coelom, it is divided into coelomate, acoelomate, and the pseudocoelomate. And coelomate, the example even we can give about the about human being also. Now beside this, another character we have, that is the notochord. So notochord means one rod-like structures which is present in some of the animals where on the dorsal side. Now although it is present in some it is present throughout their lifetime, and in some it is replaced by the vertebral column. So if they have this notochord, they fall under one phylum, that is the Chordata. But although Chordata, in some it is replaced by vertebral column, in such case that Chordata phylum, it is divided into different groups. So this is also another character. So that means what? In your book, these are the main characters based on which that huge group of animal kingdom are classified into various phylum. Now beside this, when you will study the various 11 phylum, you will come across various other terms. So there, the first term you just see, open and closed type circulatory system. Now open and closed means what? In some circulatory system, when we talk about, it consists of heart and the blood vessels. In some of them, they have the blood vessels through which only the blood flows. So if they have the blood vessel, it is said to be closed type. And in some, they don't have this blood vessels, and the organs or the cells, it floats on that open cavity. So in such case, it is said to be open circulatory system. Then you will come across another term, warm-blooded or cold-blooded and warm-blooded animal. Now, cold-blooded means what? Those animals who can change their body temperatures according to their surrounding, they are said to be cold-blooded. Example, birds. And warm-blooded, we human being, one example, where our body temperature remain constant, although our surrounding, it changes. Then you may come across another term, that is complete and incomplete digestion. Now, complete digestion means you will come across, now when you will come across this complete digestion, you will come across that in some of them, the alimentary canal, they have two opening. That means the mouth through which we take in food and the anus through which the unwanted substance are removed. So if they have both the opening, it is said to be complete type. And if they don't have both the opening, if they have only one opening, it is said to be incomplete digestion. Then we have another terms you may come across, that is the direct and indirect development. So direct means what? The example will be the human being. So that means when an individual is born, if that individual is the replica of the adult, it is said to be direct development. But if the individual which is born, if it is not the exact replica of the, you can say, of the adult, it is said to be indirect development. That means in them some intermediate stage are there. So here the example will be the insect. They are having the larval stage. First the egg form, then the larva comes out. So in them, in between, before they reach the adult stage, many intermediate stage are there. And in such case, it is said to be indirect development. Then the last other terms also you will come across, that is the oviparous. Oviparous means they are the egg-laying animals. Viviparous, they give birth to the young one. And another term, maybe in your book it's not there, that is ovoviviparous. So here what happened? No doubt these organisms lay egg, but those eggs, the development will take place in the reproductive tract of the mother, and after development only they comes out. So in such case, it is said to be the ovoviviparous, and the example is the shark. So this much about the basic characters. So based on these characters, the whole animal kingdom, they are classified into 11 phylum. So those names I have given in the PDF file, just you go through. Next time we are going to discuss about each of them. So this much only. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.